Have you ever felt trapped in a loop, repeating the same patterns, facing the same addictions, or feeling stuck in the same emotional states? What if I told you that the key to breaking free isn't about willpower or fighting against yourself, but about mastering a tool you use every single second? That tool is your imagination. Imagination is one of the most incredible abilities of the human mind. It lets us invent, create art, solve complex problems, and even dream up a better future. But here's the catch. Your imagination can either be your greatest ally or your most subtle saboteur. And the difference comes down to one simple thing. Are you using it consciously, or is it using you? Let's start with unconscious imagination. This is what happens when your mind runs on autopilot. You're not just thinking thoughts, you're living inside them, completely identified with the stories your mind is telling you. Think about it! When you're daydreaming about a crush, you're not just having a thought. You're feeling the excitement, the butterflies, the whole emotional roller coaster. That's imagination at work. When you're worrying about a presentation, you're not just considering possibilities. You're picturing failure, feeling the anxiety, the embarrassment. That's also imagination. This unconscious immersion is where the trouble begins. Let's talk about addiction. Most people think addiction is about a substance or a behavior, like scrolling on your phone, overeating, or watching too much adult content. But the real hook isn't the action itself. It's the imagination attached to it. Before you even reach for that cookie or open that app, your mind is already running a movie. It's fantasizing about the pleasure, the relief, the escape. It's the story, the emotional charge created by your imagination that fuels the compulsion. Your mind gets addicted to the fantasy, and the behavior is just the final step to try and fulfill it. This same process creates emotional loops. Have you ever noticed how you keep feeling the same way over and over again? Maybe it's a feeling of unworthiness, or loneliness, or frustration. These feelings are often tied to recurring stories in your head. Unconscious imagination creates a narrative. I'm not good enough, or no one ever understands me. Your mind plays these stories so often that they start to feel like reality. They become a false identity. Your nervous system gets hijacked by these imaginative states, and it automatically triggers the same chemical and emotional responses, keeping you stuck in that familiar, painful loop. It's like a movie you can't stop watching, even though you know how it ends. So, how do we break this cycle? The answer is conscious imagination. This is the game. It's about using your imagination with awareness. It's about becoming the director of your inner world, not just a passive audience member. The first and most powerful step is to label your mental creations. The moment you catch yourself lost in a fantasy, whether it's a positive one about winning the lottery or a negative one about losing your job, you simply say to yourself, "This is just imagination." It's a simple phrase, but it's profoundly liberating. By labeling it, you create a space between you, the observer, the conscious awareness, and the story your mind is telling. You stop identifying with the thought. You realize it's just a mental projection, not who you are. Think of it like lucid dreaming. The moment you realize you're dreaming, everything changes. You're no longer at the mercy of the dream's narrative. You can fly. You can change the scene. You have freedom. Conscious imagination is like lucid living. When you recognize that your internal fantasies and fears are just imagination, you gain the freedom to not be controlled by them. You stop feeding the false identities. You stop energizing the addictive loops. But conscious imagination isn't just about stopping the negative. It's also about actively creating the positive. This is where manifestation and personal transformation really take off. You can use your imagination as a rehearsal space for the life you want. Here's how you do it. First, get clear on what you desire. Maybe it's a new career, a loving relationship, or a state of inner peace. Then, take a few minutes each day to vividly imagine it. But don't just see it, feel it. Immerse yourself in the sensory details. What does it feel like to have that job? Feel the confidence, the sense of purpose. What does it feel like to be in that relationship? Feel the love, the connection, the joy. Let your nervous system experience the emotions of your desire as if it's already here. Feel the gratitude, the excitement, the peace. Now, here's the crucial part. While you're fully immersed in this wonderful feeling, you maintain that sliver of awareness. You gently remind yourself, this is imagination. This might sound counterintuitive. Won't that diminish the power of it? Absolutely not! In fact, it's what makes it safe and effective. By labeling it as imagination, you prevent your ego from latching onto it with desperation or attachment. You're not tricking yourself into believing it's real right now. You are consciously aligning your emotional and energetic state with the vibration of your desire. You're basically training your nervous system to be familiar with the feeling of success, love, and abundance. When you do this consistently, you begin to change your default state. You're no longer broadcasting a signal of lack or fear from your unconscious loops. Instead, you're broadcasting a signal of fulfillment and joy. And according to the law of attraction, your reality must eventually reflect your dominant vibrational state. This practice breaks addiction at its root. When the urge for a compulsive behavior arises, instead of fighting it, you can observe the fantasy behind it. You can see the story your mind is telling you about the pleasure it promises. You label it, just imagination. You see it for what it is, a mental movie, and you take away its power. You're no longer a puppet pulled by its string. So, the next time you find yourself spiraling into worry or lost in a daydream, try this. Take a breath. Recognize what's happening. And gently say to yourself, this is just imagination. See yourself as the conscious awareness that is watching the movie, not the character in it. Then, choose the movie you want to play. Consciously imagine the life you want, feel the emotions of it fully, and know that in doing so, you are not escaping reality. You are creating it. Your imagination is your birthright. It's not a source of distraction or a trap to be avoided. It is a sacred, creative faculty. When used unconsciously, it builds prisons. When used consciously, it builds bridges to freedom from addiction, to emotional mastery, and to the life you truly desire to manifest. You are the creator. It's time to pick up your brush and consciously paint the masterpiece you want to live. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, give this video a like and subscribe for more content on mastering your mind and creating your reality. See you in the next one.